Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn. In studio, Nick Newmont from the Newmont Center in Agoura Hills, California. Of course, the insane Daryl Wayne is with us as well. And on our phone is a good friend, Christine Horner, Dr. Christine Horner, who spent nearly 20 years, I guess, as a plastic surgeon, and then you saw the light. Is that how that happened?
Yes, exactly right. Yeah.
And today you practice, you teach about alternative health.
I do. I teach people how to avoid the knife.
You got it, which is a good thing. We're going to talk about the summer, and a few weeks ago we talked with a dermatologist, and we talked about, we're all out in the sun. He was saying that every morning people should, lather up or slather up with non-paraben sunblocks. Do you agree with that? Should we be putting some skin protection on?
Well, it depends. So that that's one of those areas that we kind of reversed ourselves on, which drives people crazy. But
right.
As when I was working as a plastic surgeon, it was like, oh my God, you had to avoid the sun like you were Dracula, and put all this sunscreen on, and then. What the studies then started showing was that people who are using the sunscreen actually had higher incidences of skin cancer because of the toxic chemicals that were in the sunscreen and because it was blocking the production of vitamin D. And it turns out, vitamin D is super, super crucial, for our health, and it acts like a hormone in the body. So it's literally essential for every cell in the body. It helps to lower your risk of skin cancers as well as, many other types of cancers. And so that was one of those, we actually need to get some sun exposure, ideally, for maybe 20, 30 minutes, as a minimum, per day without sunscreen on and kind of towards the middle of the day. I mean, all the things I was taught when I was in my training as a plastic surgeon, that was the opposite of that. But now we're showing that you actually do need the sunlight. So, you just have to be smart about it, where you need some, at least 30 minutes a day. If you, live in a more southern climate like we do, then you get some really good rays. But in other northern climates or in the wintertime, it's really important to take supplemental vitamin D, because some horrible statistic, I think something like 75-80% of people or something are low in vitamin D, and because it's so crucial for our health, it's really important to keep our levels up.
What kind of supplements should we take? In other words, should we take 2,000 units, 5,000 units, or is it vary individually?
It really varies individually. So it turns out that all of us kind of metabolize vitamin D differently. You should be taking D3, which is the active form of it, but some people need 2,000, people need 5,000, some people need 10,000. And the only way that you really will know how much to take is by getting your blood levels checked. And the cool thing is there you actually don't even have to go to a doctor's office to get your blood levels checked. There's actually a organization and a website called powerofd.org, where you can order a kit, and that comes to your house. It's got instructions on, how to do it. Basically, you're just pricking your finger and putting a little drop of blood on the paper there, sending it back to the organization, and then they will check your vitamin D levels, and then you can get them rechecked like every 6 months or so, and then just kind of monitor to see how much, vitamin D you need to be taking. If it's low, obviously you have to, up it and, check with that too. And then you get to be a part of an international data collection study too, where they're really looking at all the health benefits of vitamin D and how important it is to have your levels in a therapeutic dose. I
had a friend who was so low in vitamin D, she had a prescription level of like 50,000 units a day.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, and it's like if you have a disease state, so like in certain, in cancers, for instance, breast cancer, which is, one of my specialties, there's definitely a link between low levels of vitamin D and that. And so when somebody is going through a treatment phase for a more serious serious illness, I mean, gosh, they've linked Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, I mean, all sorts of stuff, then it's really important to take sometimes these seemingly way too high levels in order to get, your levels up, and then back off on it a little bit. But occasionally, I mean, there's people that just metabolize it differently, and they end up having to take a whole lot more than you'd ever imagine.
If somebody has Parkinson's or multiple sclerosis or one of these diseases, should they be increasing their vitamin D then?
Well, if their levels are low. I mean, like
right.
I said, you have to get it checked, and it's definitely something to look for because it's so crucial for proper functioning of the cells.
We want to talk, I mean, you have a new book out. We've talked about it before, Radiant Health, Ageless Beauty, and we want to talk about a simple detox. So detox scares me.
Why?
Why? Because I don't want to spend 3 days on the potty.
Oh no, you don't. It doesn't go like that. There's many different kinds of detoxes that you can do, and it's not that you have to be in a constant state of having their run. It doesn't go like that.
Well, isn't that what most people think, though?
Oh, they might. Yeah, you might think that it's uncomfortable and unpleasant, but it isn't really. And so, I'm actually certified in Ayurveda, the traditional system of medicine from India that Deepak Chopra talks about. And one of their big things, and this is from 5,000 years ago, is talking about doing detoxification. And they have the most unbelievable program that they do called Pancha Karma. Pancha means 5 and karma means actions, so 5 actions. But, if you think about it 5,000 years ago, it's not like they were using chemical farming and stuff, and they just weren't exposed to all the stuff that we're exposed
Well, I was
to
there.
now.
I was there. I remember. I was there when they developed it. Daryl and I were there, and 5,000 years ago. Yeah, so we look pretty damn good for our age.
Okay, that's right. There you go. Yeah, so, it sounds horrible, but it's all done, these luxurious spa treatments that are using hot oils to massage and treatments and things. So it's all kind of designed to lift these toxins out of your body. Many of them are lipid soluble, meaning they store in your fat cells. And so there's techniques, using oils primarily to help lift those toxins out and to eliminate them. Great research on it, and showing that it's extremely effective. And even the NIH was, did some major funding on it because they were showing that they could get someone like people that had been exposed to Agent Orange, for instance, that
right.
It was helping to get those toxins out and, heavy metals and stuff like that. Now, when you do Panchakarma, you have to go to this fancy, clinic, and it can be expensive. So, I looked at in my book, I have a chapter on detoxification, but for most people, it's going to be far more practical for them to do some things at home. And there actually are some simple things that have been shown to be effective, and the body actually has its natural detoxification system within it, and we have all these different organs that, help to detoxify the body. So the liver is kind of the major, route of elimination. It's a great detoxifier. Kidneys, our skin, through sweat. And so what we do is we work with those systems and kind of enhance their function so that they are able to more effectively get toxins taken out. So
we all have toxins, don't we?
We do. And it doesn't matter if you have the purest diet in the world. Like I said, 5,000 years ago, they were not using, chemical toxins or anything. But what they found was that if you eat, for instance, when you're emotionally upset or stressed out, then you don't digest your food as well as you should, and the undigested particles of food actually become toxic in the body and kind of clog up the channels in it. And so no matter what you try to do as far as taking any herbs or supplements, they don't work very well until you actually get these toxins out of the body and open up those channels. And kind of the fundamental philosophy of Ayurveda is what you're doing is bringing the body into balance so you can enhance your body's inner healing intelligence. And when you have toxins that are accumulated in your body, it's basically clogging up the ability for that internal healing intelligence to flow through the body and keep you well, kind of obstructing that intelligence. So you're opening that up to allow that intelligence to flow. So one of the simple things that they do, and this is kind of another thing about Ayurveda, really deceptively simple things that you can do that have really profound effects. So drinking sips of hot water throughout the day. That's it, just sips of hot water throughout the day. And what that does is it keeps your digestive tract kind of moving and flushing, things through, and it opens up these channels. And just that simple act of drinking, purified water, warm to hot sips throughout the day, people have had unbelievable responses to it. They suddenly start losing weight, their skin clears up, and and how
just from drinking warm to hot water.
Sips of hot water throughout the day. Yeah, so that's super simple. Now you can do things like taking herbal teas, like dandelion tea, for instance, because we found that the leaves of dandelion help to flush things through your kidneys. So they kind of act as a diuretic. And the root of dandelion is something that really helps your liver enzymes. So it's a really great kind of detoxification, plant to use. Speaking of the liver is really our great detoxifier. So one of the things that is really beneficial when you're going through a detox is to help to support the liver enzymes and the function of the liver. And there's a number of ways that you can do that. There's certain foods. Mm-hmm. As I said, the root of the dandelion, artichokes are a great one. Beets, help the liver. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli also help, kind of stimulate.
Yeah, I can't get into broccoli. I'm not sure why. The artichoke I can do, and I can do the other stuff. But
cruciferous vegetables. There's like 12 different vegetables in that family. So if you don't like broccoli, you can do cauliflower, kale.
Kale's another one. I don't know why, but those two. But I like cauliflower. I could do cauliflower. Nick had a point he wanted to ask.
Well, there's two different things. One, when you're talking about those vegetables, cooked or raw.
Oh, so usually, an artichoke, obviously you have to cook it.
Right.
And they found that when you cook artichokes, you think about cooking destroying antioxidants, but they found when you cook an artichoke, it increases the antioxidants released from it by 15 times.
Oh, my.
So, beets, the same thing. Now, you can do beet juice, but, those have to be cooked. And then mostly for, like, cruciferous vegetables or dandelion, you want it to be lightly cooked as kind of the rule of thumb, where it helps kind of the initial digestive process of it, and it helps you to extract more nutrients from it, but not overcooking where you, kill off, the nutrients.
Can you get dandelion root fresh? I know you can see it. I've seen it in capsule form.
You know what? I have not seen dandelion root fresh in the grocery store. I see dandelion greens there, but, you can get the root like in the dried form, and you can make a tea out of it, or take capsules out of it too. Yeah.
Our guest is none other than Dr. Christine Horner. She's a board-certified plastic surgeon and an Ayurvedic medical specialist as well. We're talking about her book, Radiant Health, Ageless Beauty, and how lack of sunshine may really be bringing you down. We'll continue our conversation as Late Night Health continues. Nick Newmont in studio with us from the Newmont Center in Agora, California. More information about Nick and, of course, about Christine Horner at latenighthealth.com. We will return in just a couple of moments. Don't go away. Late Night Health continues.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Alyn. The show continues in a moment.